What's up YouTube? Welcome to today's video, Mosal guitars. I'm going to make this video a little bit different because I'm going to talk through exactly what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And today what I want to do is I want to transfer this template onto this piece of ash and this piece of ash. I want to make up the entire body blank, and I'm going to talk you through the process of what I'm doing and why I think I'm doing it. So yeah, unfortunately I've got some splits in this material going all the way through here, and this is going to end up being a 3-piece body blank. So what I want to do is use this smaller piece for about a 4-inch wide section in the centre of the body. So I'll have to cut away all these splits, and hopefully that should be enough material. Got plenty of length there. And then this other piece that I've got is a little bit wider, but it's got quite a big split in the centre there. Stops about 3 or 4 inches in, so we can cut that off. And this wood has probably been acclimatising in this shed for about 6 months. There is a bit of a bow in especially the larger piece, so we're going to have to flatten that all out and get it ready to be glued up. So I've done a little bit of measuring, and yeah, let's make some noise. Taking that slice off. Now this wood is not perfectly square, and it's about 41mm thick. Now I only really want my finished body to be about 40mm thick. My top is 5.9mm. It will probably end up being 5.5mm. It's already planed, flat and smooth. I don't think a body blank really needs to be 44-45mm thick. I think you can get away with 35 to 38mm thick, and yeah, I'm going to be going for probably about 38mm thick. So I need to take this down a little bit. Now I do have a planer thicknesser, a cheapest chips Clark machine, and to be honest, the thicknessing on it is terrible. There's no way that this ash is going to go through there. I will use the planer side of it to get my jointed edge, but I will pretty much just use the hand planers to get this as square as possible before moving on to the power tool, because the power tool is not great, to be honest, so I can use that for the very finishing edge. So here we go. Right, that's quite a lot of planing so far, and actually what's happened is I've got a bit of a bow in the wood now. So getting quite a lot of movement in the wood. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half, because it needs to be cut in half anyway. That will reduce the amount of bow, and I think it's time to bust out the electric planer. And it's still about 44mm thick, so I've actually got quite a lot of material I still need to take off. Even if I get down to say 39mm and then 5mm top, that's the 44. It's thicker than I want, but we'll see what happens when we get there. It's starting to look somewhat like a body blank. Just got to get it thickness down. It's been several hours, and I've left it a couple of days since I planed down this body blank by hand, and as I was planing it down I kind of thought, this grain pattern does not look right. It doesn't look like the kind of ash that I've used before, and I had a little look around online to have a look at some different types of ash, and it dawned on me that this is not ash at all. The grain pattern is quite similar to maple, but I've now found out it's in fact beech. I've never used beech for a guitar before. I can't say that I've ever really seen it used, at least by any of the big manufacturers. And that's not what I want for the back of this guitar to be. I don't want this body blank to be made of beech. So I've been down to my local lumber supplier today, and I have now got some ash. There we go. 4.7 meters long of ash, rough sawn. The boards are 150mm wide and 42mm thick. A few of the bits are in pretty rough shape, so I'm still going to have to use 3-piece body blank, and yeah, got a couple of knots I'm going to have to contend with, get those out. And a friend of mine I was talking to about guitar building the other day has kindly lent me this Axminster lunchbox planer thicknesser to borrow for a little while. I told him that I was thinking about getting maybe a Metaboo or a DeWalt thicknesser, and he said, I've got this, you can borrow it for a little bit. Apparently it's not been used in about 4 years, because I don't want to spend 3 hours planing down this body blank again, and yeah, that was a lot of hard work. So going to draw up this body blank again, and hopefully I can get it out of 3 pieces and try out this Axminster planer. The only thing is it doesn't have the dust extraction hood, so I'm going to have to see where the dust comes out and maybe cable tie my dust extractor as close to it as possible, and wear a mask because it's going to get pretty dusty in here. got the 3 boards planed and thicknessed, perfectly flat and level. A little bit of snipe on a couple of the boards, but I've made them bigger than I needed to anyway, and they are all just over 37.5, so 37.6, 37.54, 37.57, running at the same setting. So I'm sold. That took me 10 minutes from never using the machine before. So I think I'll be buying a planer thicknesser that's better than my Clark machine that I have. But now we're on to that. I need to joint these edges, and then hopefully I'm going to figure out which bit of wood's going to go where and get this bad boy glued up today. Yes. Now I've got a tiny little nick out of my blade, so I just need to take that out. Right, YouTube, thank you very much. You made it to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be awesome. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers since I've started making guitars on this channel. I've changed the name to Mosal Guitars, which is the brand that I'm creating around these guitars. Whatever happens, happens. So that's cool. So we've got the ash blank glued up, ready to roll for this prototype. That's what it's going to look like. I didn't know what to do with the Beech, so I've glued that up as well. And there it is. I've never played a Beech electric guitar, so I'm going to make one, and I'm actually going to make 2 prototypes, thanks to being able to have the Axminster thicknesser. I got all that done as well. What I also got done is I got another neck blank thinned down to 20mm through the thicknesser. And also, last but not least, I've got this blank that I cut off from the original blank, the flame maple board, also thickness down to just over 7mm. So I'm going to make 2 prototype guitars. One slightly different to the other, and yeah, I think that's probably the best idea I've ever had, because I keep thinking to myself, how can I make myself more and more efficient? And I think definitely one thing is batch building. Up until now I've been making one guitar, finishing the entire guitar, starting another guitar, and so on. So I've got the Les Paul double cut that I'm going to work on next. I'm going to take a week off from this filming for the prototype and just kind of let all this stuff settle and kind of crack on with that. But I'm going to make 2 prototype guitars at the same time. Next time I'm going to have to make some templates, because this is going to be a semi-hollow, so I need to make a template for where I'm going to do that. I also need to make a template for my F-hole, which is going to be here, and someone pointed out to me, thank you very much, it's a little bit close here, so I'm going to have to do some readjusting and figure out, maybe shrink the F-hole a little bit and go from there. But that's it for now. Thank you so much. This is exactly not what I expected the beginning of this video to be, but there we go. We're ready to rock and roll. Thank you very much. See you again soon.